Nsaza akaviri n'ennyuma sitera kukolola ngoloddeko mpakinze n'emiwula gyaffe ne bambyolyeko engeregeze nazinabyeko leero ebijanjalo okumanyo nabijjeko nakwesunga dda nga tukyali amapeera n'entya maama kati nze nkwetegekedde nafunye n'akagato naji Bambi be my lover, yeah, yeah, yeah. Naji, 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 oh Baba, please be my lover, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nasindika omubaka nakuntwalako no. Olw'ensonyi nnyingi nakunkwanako nasomba amapiira ng'onkuba mugongo sijja kwerabira ebyaluli nakunyonyogera nonywegera ebisigadde byalimu oluyi engolo ensambagere ne maama wo yeah. Nakwesunga dda nga tukyali amapeera n'entya maama kati nze nkwetegekedde nafunye n'akagato nawe Naji, Naji, nawe please be my lover, Naji, 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 Papa, please be my lover. Jai kweka nakufuna ntambula neswanta abali bavuma bekweka kyasigala kundaba nkunywegera jai kweka nakufuna ntambula neswanta abali bavuma bekweka kyasigala kundaba nkunywegera Bambi fudde jazzy, oh fudde jazzy, oh fudde jazzy, oh fudde
Chumba Rabo tunulira abasajja gwezeze sente sibyagala
singa nkufuna singa nkulaba nandayira sirikuta wadde bunaira natukayo sifuddeyo bobeerawa ebigere njambitambuza gasitanga nakutukako sifuddeyo bobeerawa ebigere njambitambuza gasitanga nakutukako Funo tulo
hip hop lives.
Welcome to this week's program of Doa Doa, and our speaker this week is Bill Bragin from NYU Abu Dhabi.
Hi, I'm Bill Bragin. I'm the Executive Artistic Director of the Art Center at NYU Abu Dhabi. I have been here for 6.5 years, leading the founding of the Art Center. Prior to that, I've been a New Yorker my whole life. I came immediately from Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, where I was the Director of Public Programming. Prior to that, I was at Joe's Pub at the Public Theater, at Symphony Space, at Central Park Summer Stage, and spent a lot of my time presenting multidisciplinary work from all over the world. I'm also a co-founder of Global Fest, which is a festival that takes place every January, tied into the APAP conference. The university, NYU Abu Dhabi, is part of what NYU calls the Global Network University. The idea is that there are 3 hub campuses in New York, Shanghai, and Abu Dhabi that are full 4-year universities. Each has their own identity. And then there are also 11 other study abroad sites where the students are studying all over the world. NYU Abu Dhabi is celebrating its 10th anniversary. It's primarily a liberal arts college with an orientation towards research as well. There are about 1,500 students who come from all over the world. So our students come from about 115 different countries. There's no dominant majority, so a big point of the university is to create this international cohort of really exceptional students and future global leaders, as they like to say. campus is on an island called Saadiyat Island. It's about 15 minutes from downtown, which has been designated as the cultural district for the UAE. So we're just down the road from the Louvre Abu Dhabi and from Berkeley Abu Dhabi and the future Sheikh Zayed National Museum and the future Guggenheim. And that has been in place for about 6 years. And so the Arts Center really started once the campus moved from downtown in a temporary location to Saadiyat. We have 3 primary venues. We've got a 685-seat proscenium flyhouse. It's one of the finest venues in the country. That's the Red Theater. We've got a black box, which we refer to as sort of our laboratory for performance, flexible space, 300 standing, about 225 as a thrust theater, about a 165 head-on. And we really reconfigure it almost every time. A lot of artists, both professional artists as well as student artists and faculty, all create a lot of work in there. We've got the Blue Hall, which is a 150-seat recital hall where we do concerts as well as film series. And then we also present outdoor performances on the plaza in front, as well as site-specific performances. Within the Arts Center, it also houses all of the academic programs for the arts. So there's film and new media, theater, music, visual arts, and interactive media. And there are a lot of studios and maker spaces. So what's interesting is we're bringing multiple disciplines and maker spaces and learning spaces all under one roof. The Arts Center's role is to take part in all of those activities. So we are presenting professional work from artists from all over the world. We are developing work both with the students and faculty as well as UAE-based artists, and we're really integrating everything that we do within the curriculum of the university. But roughly in pre-COVID times, roughly 80 to 85% of our audiences actually come from the general public. So we really are a public resource for all of the UAE. So the question that I always have when putting together our season for the Arts Center is, why here? Why is it relevant? How does it connect to the UAE? The UAE is incredibly international. As international as the student body is, the country at large is even more international. There are people here from about 200 different countries. The Emirati national population is somewhere between 12 and 20%, depending on where you're looking. So international content is always really important. And also there are a lot of people here who don't necessarily have a lot of past history with traditional performing arts. And so the question is, why would someone who's never been to a theater play before, why would somebody who's never been to a contemporary dance performance be interested in the work? What conversations is it going to open? And I'm looking both at the conversations that it might open with the city at large, the community at large, as well as how it integrates with conversations that are happening on campus. So a lot of the work is looking at issues of the environment and climate change, or global migration, or gender issues, or sometimes we are looking at formal issues, artists who are kind of pushing art forms forward, and we're looking at that as well, because we are in part also planting seeds to help to contribute to the larger cultural economy of the UAE. We have certain really kind of engaging in this contemporary performance. It also, of course, the poetic tradition really leads to theater, and we're doing a lot of work now to commission work by theater artists who might have their roots in poetry and spoken word. On the musical side, in addition to the Bedouin desert traditions, there's a long history of pearl diving music. All the expeditions that would go out to dive for pearls, a tradition that ended more or less in the late 20s, had a song leader that was an essential part of the expedition. And those traditions really brought together influences from the Gulf with influences from East Africa as well as from India. And there are artists like Boom Dewan who are working now to update those traditions and mix it with jazz. In terms of dance, there are traditional forms like Ayala and Liwa that are brought out celebrations like weddings, at official government events, and so on. I think the important thing is also, though, being that the local population is only between 12 and 20%, with a population that comes from 200 different countries, all of those different art forms are also the art forms of the UAE. It's a very cosmopolitan place. So whether it's oud music from the Levant, whether it's jazz, whether it's EDM, whether it's Afrobeats, all of those styles are there. There's a contemporary dance scene that's just starting to grow. So really the arts in the UAE are extremely varied. We primarily present using a residency model. We're not on a very typical touring circuit. So when artists come here, they're generally coming here for about a week, sometimes much longer, sometimes maybe a few days shorter. And over the course of the week, they're participating on a number of different levels. So they're doing public performances is often the center of that. We're also doing invited performances. We work a lot with local schools, both government and private schools, whether it's elementary or high schools. We also work with other universities. We might have an open rehearsal because we're also commissioning work and having it developed sometimes on campus. We want to open up that process to the public. So we do that as well. And then the artists are also visiting the classes and being integrated into the curriculum of the university. They are doing workshops and sharing technique, whether it's a dance class or an acting class or so on. We're also working closely with our Career Development Center and with our art gallery to do a series of career chats, arts chats that are designed to not only build the skills, but also help people to think about how they can turn participation in the arts into their profession. So we're really looking to integrate people on a lot of different levels. We also really want to make sure that they get to know the community. It's not just a tour stop. Many of the international artists are coming to the UAE for the first time. And so we want them to come away really with a sense of the richness that is NYU Abu Dhabi and that is the UAE as a whole. And we want people from the community to have a chance to meet the artists outside of the context of their performance so that they can really meet on a human level. So we do community building events. For example, we have a dinner with every single artist who's here where we invite students and faculty and staff, other people from the community, that we curate almost like a dinner salon where we really want to just find some people who can get to know one another with the arts at the center of the conversation. Once we're putting together a season, we are looking all over the world. We're looking to create a diverse season of programs throughout kind of every year. In typical times when the world is a little bit more predictable, we're planning anywhere from 6 to 18 months in advance. And we're really looking at a global array of artists who are working in every conceivable discipline. We've had a lot of artists from East Africa. Actually, I'm recording this on the day that was the anniversary of a show in our pilot season with Just a Band from Kenya. It was our sort of pre-opening event where we were just sort of experimenting with what do all of these residency activities look and feel right. And they were in a lot of different classes. They also pulled together members of the community who joined them on stage for the show. And it also allowed us to really bridge to the Kenyan community in both Abu Dhabi and Dubai and really get a sense of the conversation that goes back and forth. And that was 6 years ago. That was really one of the events that helped us to figure out the role that the Art Center could play in the community. Beyond that, over the years, we've had the Nile Project, which is a multinational project with artists from all over East Africa. It was originally founded by Maklita Darrow and Mina Girgis. We've had from Ethiopia, Fendika collaborating with the Dutch post-punk band The X. We've had Dow Country's Music Academy doing a concert of Taarab music from Zanzibar. We opened the season a few years ago with Circus Abyssinia, and we've been working a lot with Boom Diwan, which is a group that mixes pearl diving music and jazz. It's based primarily between Kuwait and the UAE, but I think really speaks to the historic connections between East Africa and the Gulf. And I think that's one of the things that's really important. Historically, there are so many ties between this region and between the countries of East Africa, both on a heritage and kind of and deep historical level, but also on a contemporary basis as well. There's a huge East African community, or multiple East African communities in the UAE. And so when we are looking to do international programming, we're both looking at how we can connect with the local communities of origin for the artist, as well as the fact that we are in a place that's gotten a dominant majority and that people are really open to discover work from cultures outside of their own. I just want to thank you for inviting me to introduce the work of the Art Center at NYU Abu Dhabi to you. We are all over social media. You can find our website is NYUAD-Art Center, spelled the US way, CENTER.org. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at NYUAD Art Center. On our YouTube channel, we also have a lot of performances from our archives. We also have our career chats and some of the workshops from our Off the Stage series. Rooftop Rhythms or Open Mic is there. So if you really want to understand and get to know better what the Art Center is about and what our approach is, I encourage you to look at that, look at some of the mini documentaries that we've created around pieces that we've commissioned. And then we look forward to meeting a bunch of new artists from East Africa. Thanks so much.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Doa Doa 2021, the virtual docu-series. As you've heard from the speaker, now we are going to get to know the artist. The artist in focus this week is Abdul, aka Abu Danger. Enjoy.
My name is Abdul Chinyenya Muyingo, also known as Abu Danger, a movement artist, a creative who happens to be the founder of Batalo East, an arts organization that deals with having young Africans and artists who are aware of their identity and their cultures. Also one of the co-founders of Tabu Flow Dance Company, and one of the dancers and choreographers who has been dancing for about 17 years now. My dance journey has been very interesting because it's a journey that started in sort of a mistake. Because when we were young, we used to have music, dance and drama classes in schools and competitions that were organized by the school's competition, and I happened to be forced to be one of the people that represents one of our houses because I didn't want to do it. I was more into swimming and football. But again, when I went into the dance class, or what was being selected, it so happened that the trainer that selected us really thought that I had a lot of talent, and I didn't really think I did. But when I did, then I ended up meeting some people there. One of my friends called Hakim, who later we started with Tabu Flow and later Breakdance Project Uganda with other people. He had this book that had, his parents were living in the US, that had images of dancers, popping, I remember windmill. And these are things we used to look at. They were just images, but as a young person, these images were stronger because they said something that we wanted to try. We were the people that believed that you can spin on your head. As a person, every time I wake up, and I realized that this is the path I chose, being a movement artist. I realized the value of what our great grandparents created and what we really are into creating at the moment. And I see the link between what our great parents created, all the traditional dances. For example, when you look at Uganda, which has over 80 traditional dances, and you look at the modern times where you look at young people who are trying to copy and trying to be like other people. So that missing link really keeps me going as an artist, and it makes me create. And also the idea of using dance to talk about things that really matter in our community. Gone are the days where dance is just about shaking your body and showing off your body. It is about what message can you portray, what story can you tell with your body? Because we all know that movement don't lie, the dance, the body movement don't lie. They tell you the honest truth. And this is what really keeps me going as an artist, as a dancer, and also to be able to inspire young other people who don't believe that dance can be a career. As a person, really, when you go deep into my artistic expression, especially with movement, you realize it has something to do with my experiences. And my experiences are, I've been doing so many traditional dances from Uganda, but I've also been exposed to hip-hop dances, many of the hip-hop dances and break dance. But also, as I grow, I've realized there's a contemporary expression to what we're doing. So the fusion and the mix of those different styles is something that really becomes my expression in terms of dance style. So right now I can't tell you that I do a specific dance style, because I'll be lying to you. What it is an expression, and what my focus is to evoke feeling from the person that is watching me, and for me that is my style. Right now, I'm working on a lot of environmental related issues, because growing up in a city like Kampala, it's a city that could be really, really beautiful, but it's a city that beyond just the normal, the roads that you see, behind the markets, it's disgusting. And this really puts me in the mood of creativity. How can I use my voice? How can I use my movement to really express feeling, but also to communicate something? And this creative process starts in a way that I look at this situation and I am already thinking about it. Every time I meet somebody, I'm like, what can I do? What is this? And then, of course, if I have to put it on stage, that's a different direction. I need to prepare. I need to see, am I going to do it alone? Do I need backup people that can support me if I'm taking it to a theater? But these days, we're using a lot of course, internet, social media. So you're thinking, I need to work with a team of videographers, very well-trained videographers to express this. Then you meet them, you tell them your idea, but then there's a lot of changes. So it is a process that I believe doesn't involve you as a person, because I don't believe that as artists you stand by